the last question is, how should I care for my guitar? So should they keep it in a case, get it on a stand, hang it on a wall because it's a piece of art? Should they clean it? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, how should you take care of your guitar? In general, it's going to come down to, I think, a couple of main things. Um, and those are paying attention to the temperature and the humidity, and then keeping it clean. So, what I mean is, for any guitar, you don't want to leave it outside in the sun, and you don't want to leave it in the rain, right? You want to be careful of what type of environment you put a guitar into, especially like a storage unit without AC, without air conditioning or something can get really hot. Maybe if you're in a humid area like Florida, it can get really, really humid in there. And with temperature and humidity changes, your guitars are made out of wood. So the wood on your guitars expands and contracts. And depending on how the grain looks on your guitar, it can actually make your guitar bend and warp, and your neck can even twist so it's unplayable. Another thing that can happen is the frets. Let's say it gets too cold, you leave your guitar in a cold place, the wood can actually shrink enough to where you can feel the edges of the frets sticking out from the neck. And if you try to slide, it hurts, right? You're going to cut your finger by doing that. So I'd say the first thing is be very attentive to the temperature and the humidity, the environment that your guitar is in. If you have your guitar in a reasonably cool, dry place, like inside, where a place, that's not wet or humid, that's somewhere around room temperature, you're going to be fine. The second thing is just keeping it clean in general. So some people's hands sweat a lot more than others. Some people never change their strings. There's a lot of things that you can that can get dirt like all around your frets. Your strings can turn black because there's a bunch of dirt on them, or they start rusting or something like that. You can get a bunch of dust and dirt here in the bridge or in your pickups or in your knobs or anything like that. And eventually that can cause some issues, maybe some electrical issues, maybe some of the saddles, on your bridge might not function as well, something like that. Maybe a tuner won't work quite as well. Actually, my tuners are down here, but something like that. It can hurt the functionality of the guitar. And then finally, well, with the cleanliness part, I would say for the wood as well. Like if you sweat a lot, maybe you play outside a lot, or for some reason, and maybe your arm sweats, and you're going to probably wear some paint off, or it's going to start to get grungy here a little bit. If you really want to take care of your guitar, when you stop playing it, get a cloth and wipe it off. Wipe off wherever you were playing. Wipe the strings. In fact, my dad always used to call it wiping the strings down. Make sure you wipe the strings down when you're done playing before you put it back in the case. And that's another thing. I mean, if you put your guitar in the case, more often than not, it's going to be more protected than if it was out of the case. If it was out of the case, you might knock it over, dog might chew on it. You never know. Somebody might spill something on it. If it's in the case, it's definitely going to be more protected than if it was out of the case. However, most people put their guitar in the case and leave it in the case. And the old saying, out of sight, out of mind, if you don't see your guitar, especially if you put it in the closet under the bed, chances are it's going to collect dust before you think about it again. So if you want to play your guitar more, I suggest leaving it out on a stand. But, if it's in a cool, dry area, it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I get some lemon oil sometimes, and what I'll do is when I'm changing my strings, I'll treat the frets because
Mm-hmm.
if like you said, if it's out in the sun a lot, it starts to dry out those frets and can wear it down a lot quicker. I remember my brother actually bought this really beautiful marble colored bass guitar, and the guy that he bought it off of kept it in a corner, leaned up against the wall, and there was nothing we could do to straighten out that neck. That some guys recommend sticking in the steam room and steaming it and then bending it back into place. And it was sad because it was a really beautiful guitar, but it was hard to play because of just the frets. The neck was so warped, it was so concave, it was wild. So
Mm-hmm.
hey, thanks so much for watching this video. We would love it if you hit the like button, leave a comment below, tell us what you thought about it, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to release really great content, some great backing tracks so you can practice your guitar skills on. And if you're interested in taking your guitar to the next level, we have a free course that we want to give to you. It's in the description of this video. It's going to help you discover how to freely express yourself on guitar without endless amounts of scales and theory. So check it out and let us know what you think. Thanks.